Alexandra Eala just dismantled the 2024 Dubai champion on center court, leaving the entire tennis world trying to process what it watched. This global shock is not because the result was a fluke, because it undeniably was not. That undeniable reality is exactly the distinction that changes everything for Southeast Asian tennis right now. The 20-year-old Filipino tennis star has sent crowds into an absolute frenzy, and we will go live to Ali Hag in Garden Square for us this evening. The 2026 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships was originally supposed to be a grand showcase for the absolute elite of the sport. The tournament featured a massive prize pool of over $4 million, a prestigious 1,000-tier status, and 1,000 ranking points for the champion. The iconic Aviation Club Tennis Stadium was fully prepared for a spectacular field that initially included 18 of the top 20 players in the world. Tournament director Salah Talak had every single reason to expect the magnificent marquee event he had been meticulously building toward. Then the cascade of high-profile withdrawals began, starting with world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka, who stepped away, citing severe physical exhaustion after her Australian Open victory. Soon after, world number 2 Iga Swiatek withdrew entirely, announcing a sudden schedule change following a disappointing quarterfinal exit in Doha. Madison Keys, ranked number 17 globally, pulled out with a thigh injury, while world number 10, Victoria Azarenka, officially confirmed her withdrawal right after the main draw. By the time the chaotic dust finally settled, 24 different players had either completely pulled out before their first matches or tragically retired mid-tournament. A staggering 16 of the world top 20 players simply were not present when the prestigious tournament finally began. Right there in the wreckage of that roster collapse, Alexandra Eala, born May 23, 2005 in Quezon City in the Philippines, found her golden opening. Her unexpected path into the main draw was not bravely fought through the grueling qualifying bracket, but rather materialized through the sudden withdrawal of Madison Keys. Her incredible spot was then securely locked in when McCartney Kessler, ranked number 53 globally, pulled out with a lower back injury before the draw had even stabilized. Eala, who confidently entered Dubai ranked number 47 in the world on February 16th, was suddenly placed in the main draw of a major 1,000-tier event without hitting a single qualifying ball. However, this is exactly the pivotal moment where the entire narrative stops being about sheer luck and starts being strictly about Alexandra Eala herself. Her very first-round opponent was Hailey Baptiste, the powerful American athlete who is currently ranked number 45 in the entire world. That particular match did not even need to go the full grueling distance, as Eala decisively secured the opening set 6-4. She had just started the second set, trailing 0-1 when Baptiste was tragically forced to completely retire due to a sudden physical injury. It was an incredibly quiet beginning, with no viral internet moment and absolutely no explosive crowd eruption. Just a focused athlete steadily moving forward and conserving her valuable energy. She was simply getting the important wins solidly on the scoreboard, officially claiming her very first main draw victory at the legendary Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. What absolutely nobody sitting inside that massive stadium realized quite yet was exactly what that very venue was about to transform into, because round 2 changed absolutely everything. Standing directly across the net from Alexandra Eala on February 17th was Jasmine Paolini, the world number 8 Italian powerhouse and the defending 2024 Dubai champion. This formidable opponent was the exact player who had masterfully won this specific tournament just the year before, representing the ultimate high ceiling everyone assumed Eala was supposed to respect. Eala emphatically did not respect that perceived ceiling, as the first set was not even remotely competitive, and she ruthlessly took it 6-1. That dominating early scoreline instantly sent a massive shockwave directly through the crowded press section, but the thrilling second set is where her miraculous 2026 story was truly written. Throughout the intensely competitive match, Eala successfully landed 67% of her crucial first serves, and on those powerful serves, she impressively won 86% of the total points. This was an absolutely elite winning percentage that effectively neutralized her opponent return game in that vital opening set right before the absolute chaos finally descended onto the court. Then the absolute chaos truly began, as Eala rapidly built a commanding 5-3 lead in the incredibly tense second set. She dramatically held 3 separate match points on the serve of Paolini during that critical 9th game. But the tension was simply immense. Heartbreakingly, Eala did not miraculously convert any of those precious opportunities, and Jasmine Paolini, who was ranked number 8 in the world, fiercely broke back. The dangerous momentum shifted completely as Paolini desperately pushed ahead to lead 6-5, securing her own crucial set points to force a deciding third set. The massive crowd inside the legendary Aviation Club Tennis Stadium, boasting 5,000 seats, was almost entirely filled with incredibly passionate Filipino expatriates residing in the United Arab Emirates. They suddenly went completely silent during that nerve-wracking 11th game in a heavy way that genuinely felt exactly like a collective held breath. Shattering that absolute tension, Alex Eala gloriously won the incredibly dramatic tiebreak 7-5, ending it with a blistering forehand winner. That spectacular winning shot was beautifully converted on her 5th desperate match point of the entire exhausting contest, and the massive crowd definitively did not go silent this time. They instantly erupted with an absolutely deafening roar of pure joy, cheering so overwhelmingly loud that the highly trained umpires had to officially intervene to restore order. The fiercely contested match ultimately lasted an exhausting 1 hour and 40 minutes, meaning Eala had just incredibly recorded her prestigious 3rd career victory over an elite top 10 ranked professional player. However, that massive win truly meant something so profound that it extended far beyond the simple numbers proudly displayed on the final scoreline. Let us be incredibly precise about what exactly was magically happening inside that historic 5,000-seat stadium that spectacular night. The fortunate people who were physically present there immediately reached for a highly unusual, yet completely fitting, comparison to adequately describe the electric atmosphere. The specific dramatic phrase they enthusiastically used to capture the absolute magic of the incredible moment was literally Beatlemania reborn. The incredibly dedicated Filipino expatriate community residing in the United Arab Emirates is genuinely massive, and they showed up in phenomenal, historic force. They proudly supported Alex Eala in a profoundly moving way that literally had absolutely no historical precedent whatsoever at the prestigious Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. There were countless colorful handmade signs, passionately organized rhythmic chants, and an overwhelming noise level that repeatedly required official umpire intervention during crucial live points. The legendary Aviation Club Tennis Stadium was completely sold out specifically for her thrilling matches, completely packed with passionate supporters. The vast majority of those 5,000 premium seats were beautifully filled with proud compatriots who had desperately come to watch one of their very own beloved athletes. Eala described the incredibly surreal experience perfectly after securing the massive victory, stating she excitedly looked up and there were just endless thousands of cheering Filipinos absolutely everywhere for days. One particularly creative sign spotted in the massive crowd brilliantly captured a very specific kind of deep national pride that extended way beyond just the sport of tennis. An incredibly enthusiastic mother proudly held up a massive sign that boldly read, "Alex, please marry my beloved son," prompting a wonderfully playful finger wag from the victorious athlete. That specific hilarious interaction was immediately filmed, quickly shared, and went completely viral online, rapidly carrying the beautiful story of what was happening in Dubai far beyond the insular tennis community. This was definitively no longer just a traditional sports story, because Alex Eala had officially become a massive cultural moment happening in real time. It was happening directly inside a towering stadium in the United Arab Emirates, playing out in front of thousands of incredibly proud people passionately flying her national flag in a foreign country. They were enthusiastically treating a spectacular tennis quarterfinal run exactly like a massive, joyous national celebration. And that is precisely when things shifted in a way the sport had not fully anticipated. On February 18th, in the highly anticipated evening session, Eala confidently walked onto the massive center court again, deeply ready for her next monumental challenge. Standing ominously across the net was Sorana Cirstea, the formidable veteran Romanian player currently ranked number 32 in the entire world. Cirstea was known as an incredibly tough competitor with countless years of top-tier professional experience and the deep tactical intelligence usually required to brilliantly manage extremely hostile environments. However, the seasoned veteran ultimately managed neither the fiercely determined Alexandra Eala nor the incredibly loud, completely partisan environment particularly well on that historic night. The opening set was incredibly tightly contested, with the intense scoreline remaining completely on serve until the critical 11th game. She decisively broke to lead 6-5 and immediately consolidated that huge advantage to brilliantly take the entire first set, 7-5. The second set opened dramatically, with Eala surging to a massive 4-0 lead, heavily aided by multiple uncharacteristic unforced errors from Cirstea. The proud Romanian veteran fiercely fought back, impressively winning 3 consecutive games to dangerously narrow the widening gap to 5-4. Eala confidently held her final service game to love, securing the massive victory with a final score of 7-5 and 6-4 after 1 hour and 38 minutes. With that monumental win, Alexandra Eala proudly became the very first Filipino player in the entire history of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships to ever reach the prestigious quarterfinals. Astute observers perfectly described Cirstea as being slowly and painfully ground down throughout the exhausting evening. This grueling defeat was not just caused by the sensational tennis being played, but by the overwhelming combination of Eala executing brilliantly and the fiercely partisan atmosphere, the passionate crowd built around every single point. Now we must look closely at the fascinating hidden part of the Alexandra Eala story that the flashy television highlight reels simply will not show you. At exactly 20 years and 268 days old, Eala officially became the youngest Asian woman to ever record multiple top 10 victories in 1,000-tier events before the age of 21. She spectacularly broke a prestigious record previously held by the legendary Naomi Osaka, impressively hitting that massive milestone exactly 82 days younger than Osaka ever did. While Zheng Qinwen also notably reached multiple 1,000-tier quarterfinals before turning 21, the specific age at which Eala hit this milestone is now the absolute ultimate benchmark. Her total professional career earnings spectacularly surpassed $1,570,000 by the 16th of February in 2026. The incredibly valuable 215 ranking points she rightfully earned as a quarter-finalist beautifully project her massive rise directly into the top 38 players in the world. This incredible new career best ranking fundamentally changes her direct access to the main draws of 1,000-tier events and prestigious Grand Slam tournaments going forward. She will delightfully experience no more grueling qualifying brackets and absolutely no more desperately hoping for those rare lucky loser spots. However, there is a fascinating, contrarian reality sitting right there inside the cold hard data, and it absolutely deserves to be stated clearly. This beautiful Filipina fairy tale was undeniably built, in very significant part, upon an absolute graveyard of unexpected tournament withdrawals. Alexandra Eala did not actually qualify her way into the main draw in Dubai, but was rather elevated specifically because Madison Keys tragically withdrew with a severe thigh injury. Her lucrative spot was then firmly confirmed, simply because the lower back of McCartney Kessler sadly gave out before the competition began. The absolute #1 player in the entire world Aryna Sabalenka was noticeably not even there to compete. Furthermore, the number 2 player on the planet, Iga Swiatek, was also completely absent from the courts. An astonishing 16 of the top 20 players were entirely missing from an event that boasted a massive prize pool of over $4,800,000. Tournament director Salah Talak openly and publicly questioned whether those widely reported injuries were truly as severe as the absent athletes claimed. Talak boldly stated that the current financial fines were a completely insufficient deterrent for elite players who are already earning countless millions annually. He aggressively pushed for harsh ranking point deductions as a much more meaningful and effective penalty for these sudden late withdrawals. In highly practical terms, the frustrated director was perfectly describing the exact massive vacuum that ultimately provided Eala with her golden path. And yet, despite the circumstances, Alexandra Eala confidently walked directly into that massive vacuum and spectacularly delivered on the highest stage. She miraculously defeated the defending 2024 champion in dominant straight sets and courageously won a crucial tiebreak even after letting 3 separate match points painfully slip away. She brilliantly held her steady nerve right in front of 5,000 screaming compatriots while the veteran Sorana Cirstea completely crumbled under the immense pressure. The stark comparison to the Egyptian player who was granted a wild card only to brutally lose 6-0. And 6-0 is highly instructive precisely because Eala is the exact opposite case. The fierce debate over tournament legitimacy that was openly sparked by the tournament director was definitively answered right on the court by her blistering forehand winner on that incredible 5th match point. What actually happens next, however, is the deeply fascinating question that the cold hard data simply cannot fully answer for anyone watching this incredible story unfold. The incredibly formidable quarterfinal opponent eagerly waiting for Alexandra Eala is none other than Coco Gauff, the current world number 4 and notably her very own former doubles partner. Gauff barely reached the highly anticipated Dubai quarterfinals after a grueling, messy match against Elise Mertens that was universally described by professional analysts as incredibly painful viewing. She frustratingly hit 16 separate double faults in that chaotic process, yet Gauff still confidently enters this crucial matchup as the highest-seeded player remaining in the top half of the entire draw. The compelling narrative organically building around this specific match runs on deep mutual acknowledgement, as Gauff clearly recognizes the immense, undeniable power of the Filipino crowd fiercely dominating the massive stands. Eala brilliantly called the high-stakes match a completely no-lose learning opportunity, a beautiful framing that is simultaneously profoundly humble and highly tactically intelligent for a young 20-year-old boldly facing a top 5 opponent. This massive quarterfinal beautifully marks only her 2nd career appearance in a 1,000-tier Final 8, and she bravely enters the highly anticipated matchup with a spectacular new career-high projection, rocketing her directly into the top 38 in the world. The legendary stadium will absolutely be completely sold out again, meaning Coco Gauff will dangerously walk onto a packed court where every single missed serve will be aggressively met by 5,000 passionate people who are definitely not cheering for her. However, the critical variable remains her physical conditioning, as sharp tennis analysts carefully noted her apparent exhaustion during the 2nd set against Paolini, raising specific, lingering concerns about her ability to endure multiple high-intensity rounds. She has the historic records, the massive crowd, the incredible momentum, and the valuable ranking points. But whether Alexandra Eala can truly sustain an elite top 10 level of performance for one more grueling match is a massive question that currently has absolutely no answer.